These are 30 Jujutsu Kaisen moments that got changed in the anime. And at number 1, we have the moment when Yuji consumed Sukuna's finger. You see, the way Itadori consumes the first Sukuna finger is almost completely different in the anime. In the manga, Megumi mentions Itadori would need to possess cursed energy in order to be able to kill a curse. So Yuji immediately, without any hesitation whatsoever, eats the Sukuna finger that was thrown in front of him. This action of Yuji was done without even putting some thinking into it, catching Megumi completely off guard before he could even process what just happened. In the anime, however, Itadori is about to be crushed in the jaws of the cursed spirit and is in a way forced to eat the finger in a last-ditch effort to survive. In the anime version, Megumi watches as the finger slowly falls into Yuji's mouth. Next, let's talk about the fight between the Sukuna-possessed Itadori and Megumi that became a fight taken straight out of Dragon Ball instead of Jujutsu Kaisen. This fight was so exaggerated between these two characters that they sort of turned it into a Super Saiyan battle rather than a fight between Jujutsu sorcerers. You see, in the manga, Sukuna launches Megumi high into the air and then spikes him down into the apartment complex. But in the anime, Sukuna punches him so hard that he skids off 2 different rooftops and then gets punched through what looks like 5 separate concrete walls. The end result is the same, but the anime implies that Megumi has some absurd durability when that's always been Itadori's thing. Cursed energy can only do so much, and 5 concrete walls seems like a bit of a stretch as far as protecting someone, especially for this version of Megumi that, as we know, is not the strongest. But believe me, that was nothing compared to our next change. You see, early on, Kenjaku meets with Jogo, Hanami, and Dagon in a restaurant in order to discuss their upcoming plans. But as Jogo gets more and more annoyed throughout the course of the conversation, he starts to expel a lot of heat. Once the topic of discussion is over, Jogo decides to just slaughter everyone in the diner as a way of flexing or demonstrating to Kenjaku that he is stronger and capable of fighting Satoru Gojo. In the manga, this scene happens quickly and is an easy to understand way of showing how absurdly strong Jogo is as a curse. In the anime, they elongate the scene, making it intentionally uncomfortable to even watch, which actually does a better job of showing the viewer that these curses place no value on human lives. But most importantly, in the manga, the aftermath of Jogo's flames is a much more brutal imagery of skeletons left, while in the anime, they just show people becoming a big ball of flames. But next, hear this change I found that has to do with Junpei. Junpei Yoshino is by far one of the more interesting characters in the first season of Jujutsu Kaisen. His outlook on life is unique, his story is tragic, and his death impacts Itadori in a big way. Manga fans knew this character wasn't long for this world, but the anime did its best to hide or lie about that fact. They included Junpei hanging with Yuji, Megumi, and Kugisaki at the school in the intro, as if to imply that he would eventually become a Jujutsu sorcerer, which was just cruel. And the most important change is that they also gave Junpei an extra scene where he first stands up to his bullies when they try to take over his club room. It's a minor detail, but this anime-only scene of Junpei standing up for himself gave fans a bit of a look at how brave the kid actually was and the potential he had. Too bad Gege likes Perry the Platypus and decided to have Mahito turn him into that. But before we move on, we should mention this change that had to do with the Jujutsu Kaisen movie Zero. Hear this. The movie was originally meant to be the prologue of the series, similarly to what Vinland Saga did with the prologue season and start as the first season of the show, rather than a movie that was going to be released later on. However, the producers felt like a better way to tell the story would be through the way they did it. After all, Yuji was meant to be the protagonist, so having him appear on the second season of his own anime while Yuta has already won the hearts of millions of fans would surely not be so well received. Next, I found a very subtle and minor change that I guarantee almost no one else observed. Yuji's love for Jennifer Lawrence is well known. After all, this became a viral meme in the Jujutsu Kaisen community. But what if I told you that MAPPA hit another reference to Jennifer Lawrence that the manga did not? You see, this poster of a woman in a bikini that Yuji puts on his wall is different between the anime and the manga. In the manga, she has black hair and seems to be Asian. In the anime, however, she is blonde, white. It seems to me that this was not random, and MAPPA intentionally made this girl look like Jennifer Lawrence. But speaking of references, I found yet another change between the anime and the manga. Even though MAPPA did keep a lot of the references the manga used, they did not keep all of them. One of the funniest ones happens in the first chapter. In the manga chapter, Itadori is introduced as a supernaturally strong boy that he is, and he's up against the track and field coach at a competition, with the stakes being Yuji joining the track team. Among the whispers, the occult club president mentions that there's a rumor that Itadori is a previous winner of the iconic Ninja Warrior series. It was a hilarious mention, and it gave gave readers a reference point of how everyone else in the story saw Itadori's natural abilities. But in the anime, this reference is nowhere to be found. This was only the warm-up, where we included changes from only the movie and Season 1. In later parts of the video, we will show the changes made in Season 2, and believe me, some of them are insane! But before that, we have 2 more changes that happened in Season 1. The first was the drawing of Oikawa from the Haikyuu anime that can be seen when Yuji and Nanami go up the stairs. This reference is exclusive to the anime and does not appear in the manga. Finally, for Season 1, we have this moment with Nanami. In the manga, we can't read what is written in Nanami's journal. In the anime, however, we can see that it's a financial business journal, which kind of fits the character considering he previously worked an office job related to finance. Now, let's turn up the heat as we begin to show the incredible changes occurring in Season 2 of the anime. I speak with certainty when saying that MAPPA cooked with the second season of JJK. However, even like that, there was still a fair bit of criticism due to the changes that MAPPA did to the manga material. One of the biggest fusses related to the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen happened due to the fact that MAPPA was constantly changing the angles of certain iconic manga panels. A prime example of that was Gojo's "Throughout Heaven and Earth, I Alone Am the Honored One," where, as you can see, the angle is quite different. Another occasion was the one panel featuring Nanami's death. In the manga, Mahito touches Nanami from the front, while in the anime, Mahito touches him from the back. The anime makes it seem more like Mahito had to sneak behind Nanami to get him, while the manga shows that Mahito reached Nanami easier. But have you ever wondered how this scene with Gojo and Geto playing basketball was drawn in the manga? Well, the answer to that is that it actually was not even drawn in the manga. It was completely anime original and was added by MAPPA as extra material. Did you think this was the only change that had to do with Gojo's backstory? Not quite, because there was another one change that also became a viral meme. You see, Gojo's and Geto's breakup was one of the most important moments of this arc. While in the manga, the scene happens in front of an unnamed store. In the anime, this happened in front of a KFC store. Fun fact, even the official Twitter account of KFC tweeted, quote, "Watching Satasugu break up was even harder from behind the register." But speaking of memes, one of the funniest ones had to do with the Bunny 273 that not only attacked Toji face to face, it also managed to hold its own for a solid second. In reality, this moment was again anime original, as the entire Toji versus Megumi fight was extended compared to the manga. In the manga, Toji is serious from the start and breaks through all of Megumi's attacks effortlessly, making the fight last barely a few pages. In the anime, however, not only does Toji not give Megumi time to even breathe, Toji is also playing around, allowing Megumi to run around trying to come up with a counter. But that was not even half as bad as the moment Mahito tried to kiss Yuji. Yeah, I get it. Mahito loves Yuji, but come on, you can't just kiss your homie without asking first. In reality, this scene was once again something that MAPPA came up with and was not present in the manga. But you see, that was only the first of the 3 changes that MAPPA did during the Todo and Yuji fight against Mahito. The second one, and probably my favorite, is the fact that MAPPA made Todo a fan of All Might from My Hero Academia. That's because in the manga, Todo simply attacks and lands a black flash kick on Mahito. Well, I don't know who within MAPPA had the idea that this one manga panel needed to become an All Might reference, but what Todo casually went ahead to do was an entire sequence where he does a lat spread and flexes back for no reason, all to finish it with a kick. And needless to say, this was not in the manga. Something even funnier though was when MAPPA decided to give Todo his own stand from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You see, before Todo claps with the help of Mahito's hand, we are shown a sequence that looks like Todo is a JoJo's character. Once again, needless to say, this sequence was not part of the manga. But did you think MAPPA changed a lot of things for that fight? Well, think again, because during the Sukuna fight against Mahoraga, I found not 1, 2, 3, or even 4 or 5 changes compared to the manga, but actually 6, and all of them are worth mentioning. The first is from the get-go, that Megumi summoned Mahoraga. You see, in the anime, when Mahoraga is summoned, we see him breaking free from his casket, or whatever this is that surrounds him. This was once again completely absent from the manga, and rather an anime extra scene. While that change was really interesting to know, the next one is really funny instead. While Sukuna and Mahoraga fight, Mahoraga slams Sukuna and throws him inside a building. But what does Sukuna do? Well, he casually comes out having popcorn and a soda on his hands, casually chilling without a care in the world. Once again, this was not part of the manga. But talking about MAPPA adding things, well, apparently someone had the idea to turn Mahoraga into a swimmer and Sukuna into a gymnast. Notice this scene? Now, even though I do admit it was epic, this was added through MAPPA's initiative, as again, this was an anime-only sequence. Not only that, but MAPPA apparently loves Mahoraga so much that they really wanted to show that this Shikigami is so overpowered that he can literally adapt to anything if enough time is given to him. That much that even being thrown float underwater is no problem to him, as Mahoraga can just grow gills to breathe just like fish do. Once again, something like that was not part of the manga. If you thought I'm overestimating just how much Mappa loves Mahoraga, well, listen to this. Mahoraga was casually walking within Sukuna's domain expansion like nothing happened. In the manga, on the other hand, Mahoraga is on the ground trying to get back on his feet when Sukuna uses Fire Arrow to finish him off. Which brings us to our next point. In the manga, Sukuna used domain expansion, and when Mahoraga was struggling, he then used Fire Arrow. However, in the anime, it seems that Sukuna is able to use both domain expansion and Fire Arrow at the same time, as he uses these two moves simultaneously to destroy Mahoraga. Now, let's take a step back to the first episode of the Shibuya Arc. On that episode, we spent a whole good 2 minutes speaking about the movie Human Earthworm 4, which, again, is an anime original and does not even get mentioned in the manga. But the most exciting change that happened in the Shibuya Arc was this. Well, it was not so exciting for everyone, but a certain percentage of the Jujutsu Kaisen fandom was surely pleased with what Mappa did here. You see, the fan service during Shibuya Arc was off the charts. That's because both Gojo and Nanami were drawn in an overly attractive way. This moment with Gojo breaking Jogo's hand, and this moment with Nanami were both given, well, let's just say special attention. Nanami is shown extra angry compared with the angry but at the same time composed version of him in the manga. In the anime, Nanami is about to explode from anger. Plus, the scene where Nanami was holding Haruta from the hair was not in the manga at all. Well, all I'm going to say is that Mappa knew exactly what they were doing when animating these. Next, did you know that the Mikamaru versus Mahito fight was basically a Gurren Lagann reference? If you observe these scenes, then it's obvious that the animators were paying tribute to this iconic anime. Once again, there was no such reference in the manga. But an even more exciting reference that I bet you did not know is this. When Megumi and Itadori attacked Jiro on the rooftop of that building, they used threads to capture him and bring him down. But when it comes to the anime now, Mappa went extra with this scene and did the following reference to Spider-Man. You see, Itadori's voice actor, Junya Enoki, is the voice actor of this Japanese dub for Spider-Man as well. Because of that, Mappa decided to have Itadori casually channel his inner Spider-Man by using threads to fly from building to building and even trap his opponent with threads once again while in midair, in a manner similar to what Spider-Man does. But moments after that, we were shown an even crazier change that this time had to do with Toji. When Toji took control of the body of Ogami's grandson, in the manga, he attacks and completely obliterates Ino. But a significant change compared to the manga is that Toji casually does a flash step to approach Ino. That, if you ask me, looks like it was taken directly from the Bleach anime. This was again added purely on Mappa's initiative. But speaking of Toji, his fight with Dagon featured another small change compared to the manga. During his fight in the anime, Dagon is seen trying to escape by flying high enough to a point that Toji would not be able to reach him. Because of that, Naobito Zenin intervenes and does not allow Dagon to escape. In the manga, however, Toji does not even allow Dagon time to think, let alone fly away. Next, let's talk about Nobara's flashback before her death. In reality, this sequence was extended in the anime, and Mappa even gave us additional information about Saori, like what she is currently up to, her job, and even extra dialogue mentioning Nobara. We previously mentioned the Mikamaru versus Mahito battle, but did you know there was a small change in the aftermath as well? The panel where Momo says that she will kill anyone who makes her junior cry showed a much bigger emotion and wrath in Momo's face compared to the anime, where the scene is shown from afar and without giving much emphasis on Momo. I guess not even Mappa takes Momo seriously at this point. Check out this video, where we present what would have happened if Toji fought against all the cursed spirits we saw so far in the anime. Go on, check it out!